As I prepare for this review, I find myself caught on several questions. Is my current ambivalence because of my advancing age? Why can't I recapture that feeling I had the first time I read this? Can there be too much of a good thing?
That's a really good question. We should test that.
You can hear my inner monologue?
Of course I can. Now let's do some science! Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Macabre, and welcome to another evening of science.
I do not recall agreeing to this.
Yes, you did. You just forget things often. Today, we are going to test the human stomach's capacity to hold eggnog. Nurse, are you ready with the funnel?
First and foremost, you're not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, this isn't science.
This is totally science. I may not be a doctor.
Give me a break, a little escape. I am so tired of being me. I wanna be free, I wanna be new and different. Anything I'm not.
Hello, I'm Plutoburns, and welcome to Eagleland. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and as my gift to you, I'm finally reviewing Kimi Ni Todoke. Yeah, considering how popular this high school romance is, it's kind of surprising it took me this long to get to it. I definitely missed the timing boat on this one, but if that opening monologue didn't clue you in, I've got some mixed feelings on this one that I'm going to try to unpack. Kimi Ni Todoke is a simple tale of a girl falling for a guy, but in this case the girl looks like she crawled out of a TV after prank calling you a week ago. Sawako, widely known as Sadako, is just the nicest girl on the planet if not for her cripplingly awkward face that makes her smile the stuff of Medusa's nightmares. She finds herself drawn to the outgoing Starboy who's so bright and shiny that he might be an actual starman waiting in the sky. Sadako is really drawn to his ability to be so open and friendly with everyone, while she is widely labeled a wandering curse to all she meets. Lucky for her, Starboy seems actively interested in her and possibly even in a romantic sense. I had someone on Twitter say they'd be impressed if I could cover this all in one video, but after rereading it, it's not actually that hard. This is one of those light high school comedies like Horimiya, Say I Love You, and High School Debut, where nothing much happens. The fun is watching all these really cool characters do stuff and bounce off of each other. And the cast setup is pretty solid. Sadako is one of the most earnestly helpful people on the planet, to the point that her homework prep is compared to a television chef. Starboy is pretty bland, but at least he's expressive. Sadako's first female friends Yoshido and Yano are significantly off-type for backup female characters, with Yoshido being a sports nut and Yano being a fashionista. Wait, no, that wasn't them, but that totally proves my point. The side characters in this manga are interesting enough to carry a manga all by themselves, especially Yano. And that's why I think it's a really smart move for this manga to open with the girls becoming better friends, rather than leaning on Starboy for romance. After pronouncing her undying respect for Starboy in the opening chapter and hilariously undercutting his romantic intentions, the story switches to Sadako making new friends. And I think that was a very good move for the story. It sets this romance apart by highlighting female friendships as more valuable than a boyfriend and naturally develops the main cast. The story arc kicks into gear when a girl with a crush on Starboy initiates a rumor mill campaign against Sadako for taking up so much of Bowie's attention. It's pretty elaborate, with all the nasty rumors being about her new friends and the source of the rumors being Sadako, in spite of the fact that most of the school is too scared to talk to her. The conflict relies on Sadako being willing to sacrifice her new friends in order to protect their reputation, and a really stupid thing where Sadako says a really leading sentence and Yano Yoshido don't stick around to hear the end of it. This is dumb, and it's something the manga relies on later. But for the slightly circuitous route it took to get there, the climax is very nice with Sadako confronting some rumor spreaders in the bathroom. Things get physical, but then Yano and Yoshido back her up and shut it down with the power of friendship. It's all good feels, and I like how Starboy verbalizes that this is about the girls being friends and he needs to stay out of it. Before we get to my troubled reread, I want to go over some stuff that totally held up. I like how a lot of the character relationships clearly existed before the story got started. Most notably, the teacher Pin clearly has a history with Starboy, but it's not explained for a long time. Yano and Yoshido met before they interacted with Sadako, and Maui Head knows Yoshido and Starboy. A lot of fiction only seems to temporally exist once the audience is watching, even with flashbacks. Everything you need to know about people is presented for the viewer, but keeping some stuff unstated definitely feels more natural. I'm also all about Yano and Yoshido's characterization, especially Yano. Yano has this whole heavily make-up gal thing going on, where she goes on dates with boys who aren't even involved in the story. She's not full Ganguro, but she draws on similar story tropes. Like having a bad breakup with her off-screen boyfriend, one day she comes to class with a face bruise because the guy was a huge douche balloon. And Yano isn't stupid, she dumped his ass, which I found to be an excellent way of establishing Yano's personal life while still asserting her agency. She has guy trouble, but isn't defined by it. And the comedy of the manga is still generally good, with Sadako's spoopiness being the big laugh winner and good chibi work. Alright, let's talk about my tumultuous reread. First time I read this manga, all this stuff was gold. It was hitting all the right emotional beats, the characters were fleshed out and believable, I wanted to see the romances go well, and it was funny. But on the reread, it's like getting jerked around on the way to the good stuff. The build-up was too long for the payoff. And I'm not normally like that when rereading romances. I'm normally all about that shit, but this one just wasn't clicking after the first arc. It felt peaky. High school romances have their own tropes they sift through, just like shonen action mangas. There's the first date, the New Year's celebration, the Christmas celebration, birthdays, Valentine's Day, day at the amusement park, sports festivals, and the general school festival. And yes, slavishly repeating these tropes is lazy, but not having them is like having a Godzilla movie without scientists talking bollocks.
The SS Takatsubi was sailing along the coast just north of Sapporo when it recorded the UFO on its radar.
Kimi Ni Todoke doesn't really have those moments like you like to see them. The first date and New Year's are fused together, that's alright, but First Christmas gets entirely skipped in favor of this, in retrospect, tiresome story about Sadako choosing between her parents or her new friends. The school festival gets almost entirely glanced over after we watch Sadako do some creepy fortunes. As I was rereading, I realized how empty the manga was outside the emotional turns. Yeah, it's nice to have a manga where people actually talk about their feelings in a productive manner, but they don't seem to do much else. Prior to the New Year's first date, there's a dress-up montage with all the girls, but it barely lasts any time at all. The worst offender is the lead-up to final confession between Starboy and Sadako. I swear to God, they must have gone back and forth 3 times with them saying something awkwardly phrased and the other person leaving the conversation with their hopes dashed. Hey, could you make eggs for breakfast? Well, now's not a great time. Oh, I get it. Never mind. I'm using the egg pan to make hash browns. Where the fuck are you going? And catching up on the later stuff I hadn't read yet wasn't exactly a laugh riot. I appreciate any high school romance that deals with the main cast heading off to different colleges, but like most things, the conversations are dragged out forever. And to my deep regret, the manga actually seems to be following through on the Pin-Yano relationship, which just... Oh, and I never liked Blondie Nice Guy. He's too calculated. The manga made the wise move of expanding its romantic catalog by having the side characters pair off, which is a good draw card to play when your plot is winding down, but Kimi no Todoke's plot wasn't winding down. Almost immediately following the confession and pairing, the secondary pairs start working towards their confession. There's no downtime, there's no trough. Everything is either emotional peak or building to emotional peak, and you need the moments of friends just doing friend stuff. You need reminders of why you care about these people's happiness. And before we go, the art isn't great. The character designs are good, but the backgrounds are nearly non-existent, making most of this take place in shoujo bubble land. I also don't love Sadako's look. I know it's important for the joke, but the bangs replacing the forehead is not a good look. Look, Kimi no Todoke is still good. Its pacing issues aside, its emotional moments work, the characters are fun and interesting, and it's a totally worthy entry in the shoujo romance genre. You should totally read it, I don't know if it totally lives up to the hype. The mangaka is Shina Kuroho, who's done a lot of other mangas that I've never heard of. Till next time, I'm Plutoburns, and this has been Eagle Land.
Look what you done.